Hello dear student, welcome to my channel. Uh, now today we are discussing about some acid base chemistry. Today we are discussing about some acid base chemistry. So this is basically introductory class, means we discussing about some basic of acid base. uh, what about some acid and what about base, and how to measure acid and base, what is the scale of it, and basically some example of acid and base, and also some formulas to for do some numericals for acid and base. So first let's start how to measure acid and base. Basically, for measuring acid and bases, we use pH scale. What is a pH scale? What is the work of pH scale? Actually, it detects how much it is acid or how much it is base. The scale is like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. There is a scale up to 0 to 14. In this 0 to 6 is acid, and 8 to 14 is base. And what about 7? 7 is for the neutral one. Those compound or those substances who are neutral, they are in pH equals to 7. Basically, this range is applicable only for the temperature. There must be applied some temperature. Temperature is 25 degrees Celsius, that is 298 Kelvin. These are the temperature must be added. In this particular temperature, the pH scale should be in between 0 to 14. Someone asked that pH equals to 4. Some compounds like HCl or something, etc., etc. I give it example after this pH introduction. And then pH equals to, someone says 6, and they ask for an example, they ask for how much acidic the compound is. At a pH equals to 4, see the scale. At a pH equals to 4, this is pH equals to 4. This is much more acidic, and this is pH equals to 7, like this. And for an example is a compound A and compound B. Compound A compound in pH equals to 4, and compound B is in pH equals to 6. Since compound B is nearly equals to neutral pH, that is pH equals to 7, so that's why it's not much acidic, or else at pH equals to dose in a pH equals to 4 is much more acidic than compound B. It's then easier to watch by the pH scale and determine how much it is acidic or not. Similarly, we can measure like base character easily. Now come to some example of acid and base. Acid, how they are acid? Basically, acid have a much more definition, like Lewis acid, Bronsted-Lowry theory. According to Bronsted-Lowry theory, there much more definition, and Lewis acid are much more definition like this. There are 2 or 3 type definition in acid, for acid. I simply give some example of acid because it's an introduction. So that's why I don't want it to much more complicated. So very simply I tackled it uh, for those students who are basically some introduce this about some acid base, what is new, basically new things. So I don't want to complicate it. So that's why let's see what is the example of acid. Basically, is there example? You all know that H2SO4, sulfuric acid, HCl, hydrochloric acid, CHCCOOH, acetic acid, which is used in our daily life. Basically, there is an vinegar, yes, HNO3, nitric acid. Basically, for the acid character, look at this. There are some H. There are some H. Yes, there are some H. Every acid must contain an H plus because if someone goes to reaction like HCl, they must be broke like this. They are releasing H plus. So that's why every acid should contain must H and hydrogen. Similar example like base. Some example of base. NH4OH, NaOH, KOH, RNH2, and much more possible. Acid also much more possible. These are the similar base have similar character like acid, but this base I say that range is in between 8 to 14 and acid is in between 0 to 7, 0 to 6, sorry. These are the range. Now these are the examples of acid and base. And beforely I say that there are much more definition according to Lewis, according to Bonsted, and much more. I don't want it complicated. Basically, hydrogen, according to some theory, remember it, basically which can accept, and base which can donate. And there are some lone pair anyways having oxygen having lone pair which can donate. There are some basically odd things you cannot understand about this. So now we are going some formulas. Yes. Now come to formulas of some acid base chemistry. This is an basic formula. For this I want to say that from this formula you can solve any problem because this is an basic formula, and this is upgraded too much in an higher levels. I just give you some basics like this. pH plus pOH equals to pKW. What about this pKW? Basically, at 25 degrees Celsius, I say that our pH scale in basically applicable in a 25 degrees Celsius. In a higher temperature, there is a higher what? In a higher temperature, pH scale can be increases, and there is an odd word. Now, this is pH plus pOH equals to 40. This is an basic formula, and in this formula you can solve any kind of problem, but this is applicable for yours. That means you can easily understand that pKW equals to 14 means KW equals to 10 to the minus 14. Always is an formula. Similar like pH equals to minus log of H plus, pOH equals to minus log of OH minus. If you know concentration of H plus and OH minus and put it down here, you can solve any kind of pH or pOH problems. If there isn't given in your question, like pOH is given something, and there isn't give some example of H concentration of H plus, you can solve easily by this formula pH, and then put it down here, and you can solve equals to 14. So you can easily calculate pH or pOH or pKw, etc, etc. So these are some introduction of acid base chemistry. So now, thank you for watching. Waiting for other videos. Thank you.